My name is Levine. I'm a record producer. I'm an engineer. I write songs. I make my own records. I make other people's records. I do film scores. I'm an all-around sound dude.
We're children of production, playing on the moon, on a coast in deep space.
This is our studio. This is called Pap's Palace. This is where I do almost all my work. I grew up all around record producers and always in a studio. Like all the men in my family were record producers. How some people grow up and they go into the family business. Since I was like 5 years old, I would go home from preschool and kindergarten and everything and go to the studio after school and hang out. And so it was like the only thing I ever knew how to do or ever thought to do. And luckily somewhere along the line I got good at it. Growing up, the kind of studios I would go in were like super huge pro studios, you know, where they were making, like my father was making Simply Red and my grandfather was making Michael Jackson records. And so it's like top of the line, crazy studio. And it used to be that only an elite few could make records, really, at a real level. And then just, I'd say like in the past, like maybe 6 years, it's become where like $100 you can get software, or you can just make records, anybody can do it. Here we are at our studio. In a room like this, you got everything you need. It's built like one of those studios, but it's in the backyard of a house, you know. Alekesam was the first full project where we really took advantage of the workstation. It was such an involved project because we had to start from scratch, basically. He'd never made a record before, from just like gathering songs for influence and like samples and cutting things together, and even the pre-production, like we created this little world here. And I try to keep a lot of spontaneity in these records and catch moments and work really fast on the fly, and the Z800 was a big part of that.
And try to, like this verse, it grooves harder than the first one. So
Right.
I'm being a savior, but I'm get like don't get louder, but just hit those beats
Right.
a little cooler. Thought I'd be a savior, but
Thought I'd be a savior, but I'm getting by on my bad behavior.
yeah.
Now with computers and everything, everybody does so much editing and fixing of things that there's no spontaneity left in the music. So in my process, I always try to make things feel a little dangerous. I like to move fast, like we don't have all the time in the world and we can't fix that. I feel like it's something that we miss now in the way people make records. I'm really hands-on with everything. Like I'm engineering it, I'm producing it. I move really fast and have a lot of things going on, and a lot of dudes playing stuff and a lot of processing that happens with the computer. And I don't ever want to have to think about that. Like I want us to be able to move as fast as our ideas are coming and as fast as somebody can get a sound right. And with this computer, it's like I never think about that because it never falters. I don't get close to using all of its power. It's just like, not a problem. What else do you want to do while you're doing that? Right now I'm scoring a film and doing all the music supervision and edits and everything. And on my old computer, to do that kind of work used to be such a nightmare and such a drag. Because it's like it's a feature film, so I've got movies that are an hour and a half long, and it used to just hiccup and be all crazy. But on this, it's nothing. It's just like right there, and you can just get to work. I'm not the techiest guy also. I'm just a record producer. I'm pretty out there, but the tech never gets in the way of any ideas I have, and that's so cool. I feel like a rocket scientist.
Never mind all the signs that